Okay, so we wanted to take a new video because we changed some things, mainly the road. I really liked this old logging trail that we kind of cut the little small growth out of and made this little path down here through, but this is the little road my husband kind of pushed out a little bit. It kind of goes up on a little hill. It's going to be where my husband's shop is. If we come back around on here, this is the road that we originally cut into to get back here towards the back. But then we decided to cut a road up going this way that was going to go on up to the house side. And I really just didn't like that idea, just because I didn't like the way it looked mainly. I really like the way this looks, with the trees lining both the sides. It just looks like an old country road, and I just really like that. So after we ended up deciding to go off-grid, we flipped the house to be an south-facing, for the solar panels. I realized that my driveway wasn't going to be where it was, so it worked out really well for us to continue on to be able to use this road, and I just really like this road. And it was really easy to push through because, like I said, this was a road that they used for logging a couple years ago.
Haven't done any road work to this one yet, just cut the trees out of the way.
Yeah, we hadn't really done anything here except for just, we cut off some smaller trees that were kind of growing up, but we hadn't done anything else to it but just pushed it through. And right now we got a bunch of our bigger stuff sitting out here. We got our wood chipper, and then of course one of our horse trailers and my semi. That's going to be for my stockpile because I started extreme couponing, kind of got to with a big family. So we'll get those moved around and set up later.
There's a pile of barn wood we just bought. We found a sawmill where we can buy odd shaped and odd sized lumber with bark on some of them or whatnot.
But most of it's good.
Really. $100 a pallet. Some of them have places in them where the saws dip down in. It's kind of irregular, but it's going to work really nice. They had several pallets of wood that was partially poplar and then oak, and I told them that we needed one that was mainly oak, so we got probably three quarters of it oak, but we'll use that for making round pens or building barns, or we need to build some gates right away, so we'll probably build some gates out of that.
But basically anything to cut the cost down. So as you can see, it's been storming here pretty bad the last couple of days, so it's really wet right now, but I just love this road. I just love the way that it sits with the trees lining it, and it just looks really nice and homey to me back in the woods. So it continues on down. Starts kind of going downhill just a little bit.
Well, we hadn't got much done here yet.
Yeah, as you can see, we really just pushed the backhoe through here.
We needed to take the backhoe back to the owner and had just a short period of time, so we wanted to come down and at least get the driveway cleared in to where we can start working with it.
Yeah.
Get down into the house site from this angle.
That was kind of one of my requirements when we decided to get this place. Was I told my husband I want a nice long driveway with trees, on each side. Just really feel like you're going back into the country. And then, which we haven't got everything out of the way, but now this will be the new driveway. Well, the one that actually goes up to the house. So it kind of cuts up in here a little bit. And we basically just walked kind of around what we had originally already pushed through and done. It's starting to get dark. But this is, what we've cleared. I think my husband showed a bunch of that already. And
house site's right there in front.
Yeah, the house site will be here, so this will be coming up to the house. The house site will be right about in here, which we've still got a lot to kind of pull and push out of through here.
Back there will be the back yard, and then the orchard in behind that. And then on down there, we'll have the side yard
and a garden.
A garden, probably 1.5 to 2 acres of garden eventually.
So originally the house was going to be facing a different direction, and the orchard was going to be on the side, but now it's going to be behind it. So
originally it was going to face up this way to the west, and now we're going to have the south facing so we can put solar panels on the roof at some point in time.
So we're just going to walk back out to our road because we got some other things that we'd like to show you guys.
Every man needs to have a junkyard.
I was fixing to get to that. If you watched my video about squaring up my orchard, then you know that my husband's going to have this little place down in the bottom for all of his junk. That way it's nowhere near my house. So as we continue on down this road, we're going to cut off to that here in just a few minutes. So basically, there's another little driveway kind of deal we've pushed out down through here. We really just barely pushed it out. There's still some stuff sticking up, but
there's an old road bed. We just went through and pushed out a couple of the trees that had grown up on it.
Yeah, it really worked really nice to have all the old logging roads. We've basically used all of them at this point, and it's made it super easy to come in here and push stuff out. And it just worked really well with the way we wanted to sit everything. So
up here to the left is going to be all garden area from the road up to the house site.
And this trail is going to continue on until that back fence that I showed you guys in my squaring my orchard video. And then it's going to turn right. And it's going to kind of go downhill into, not a steep grade, but downhill a little bit. And then the junkyard sits kind of in a little hole down there where it won't be seen from anywhere else.
My wife's requirement was she couldn't see the junkyard ever. I told her it's still,
even in the winter.
Still winter time right now, and even before the leaves are even on, you still can't see down there in the back corner of the property to where the junkyard's going to be. So theoretically, when the leaves are on,
did the storm do that?
Should never. No, that's where the backhoe got to with the backhoe.
Oh, okay.
But you should never be able to see the junkyard.
But yeah, you can see it kind of slants down, and it's going to kind of come down and then even out. And down in there will be his junkyard for all of his extra cars, for parts and lawnmowers, because he's only got about 50 of them. And weed eaters, hopefully, because I definitely don't want 20 of those things on my porch.
But they're handy to have when you got to rob parts off of one thing or another, and when you're poor folks like us, you got to use what old junk you can to build things or resource things and
keep things going.
Put things back together.
I haven't even showed you guys my absolute favorite spot in this whole property yet. The moment that I walked this whole thing, I immediately found this spot that I just fell in love with. And I told my husband, I said, I'm putting a cabin right here. So this road really is awesome because it cuts off to the house, and if you go down further, then it cuts off and goes to the junkyard. And as you come all the way to the end, you'll come to the cabin site. We'll show you where that is here in just a minute. Whew, I'm gonna get tired. Alright, so now we're back on the road. And like I said, we really just pushed it out. If you can see, there's still a lot of stuff sticking up that we got to come back and go over. We had to do as much as we could with the backhoe while we had it. Don't you just love the way this looks, though? The trees lining it. It just looks so peaceful, calming.
Ever since I was a little kid, my dream's been to build a log cabin. And when we got married and we're talking about a house, we thought about building a log cabin. That's what I've always wanted to do. And we like the rustic look of a log cabin.
So this, from the road, if you come in a little bit, this kind of goes up on a slight hill. So it's like perfect because it comes up on this little hill and then it drops down just a little bit on either side. So it just kind of rises up. And the plan is to put the cabin, it's just a little getaway cabin. It's nothing big. It's just going to be for me and the husband.
Like a honeymoon cabin or
yeah,
a guest house basically is what it'll be eventually, where if we have visitors that come to visit or whatnot, we'll have a nice little cozy spot to put them. It probably won't be very big, just a small little cabin, but we'd talked about building a log cabin in the past, and we figured that this way we can build a guest house and still get our dream of building a log cabin, even though it's probably going to be pretty small, but I think we'll still be able to do it.
We're thinking like a bathroom, small bathroom, a bedroom, and then basically one big room for the kitchen, living room. So nothing huge. Now the next awesome part about this is this side kind of goes down a little steeper, and it sits kind of in a hole. I don't know if you can tell that from the camera very well, but it keeps going down. And at the bottom of this, my husband's thinking about putting a big pond in for us to swim in. So basically, the cabin will be overlooking a big pond, and it's going to be really peaceful and really nice. So we're really excited about that. And that's basically the gist of everything right now. Unless there's something else my husband wants to add to it. We've worked really hard. It doesn't seem like we've accomplished very much, but when it's just us and the kids, we've actually gotten quite a bit done. So
I've been really blessed to have a use of our friend's backhoe. And really grateful, hoping some point in time we can return the favor for that. It's been a tremendous blessing. It's not quite the ideal machine for pushing out some of these trees, but it's really been a blessing for us to have it, and hopefully we can always try to do a little work on it to make it somewhat even, where they're getting something back and getting the machine a little better than what we borrowed in the condition it was. But it's kind of hard whenever it's a big machine to
when we get
make
this all
a fair trade
cleared out, and in summer when everything's blooming really nice, we'll probably do another video just to show you how pretty it really is when everything's nice and green, and it kind of just closes in on this little road, and it's just really pretty. So, but I think that's all for now, except, oh yeah, the spot we pushed out for the electric poles originally, since it's getting garden season, I think we're going to use that for our garden site this year, just so we can get the garden in on time. So we're hoping to do a lot of canning and growing of different things, so it wasn't a total waste to push that out, basically.
We're gonna try to do a hybrid electric system where we bring the power in and hook it up to our garage, our shop, and that way if all else fails and can't get enough sunlight or enough wind power or things of that nature, don't have enough money for getting the system built up initially,
Right
then,
away, yeah.
which I know we won't. It'll be a bit of an investment over time, as it takes a lot of money to get a system set up. And basically the two factors: you have to invest in getting a system set up, and then you also have to figure out what you can do without cutting all the corners, using a clothesline as much as possible.
Clothesline for 17 people.
My wife's real excited about the clothesline, but we're looking at doing that, and then everything else that we can do. If we can build a wood heater for heating all our water instead of we've got an electric water heater right now.
And we have some ideas for our solar energy and also our water usage, and we're going to do a video on about those later. once we get everything brought over or picked up or set up. So be looking for that.
Probably just be working on one system at a time as we have the money. We've got, probably make a video here shortly about a water tank. We got on LSN and found a water tank for $500, and it's a 8,000 gallon water tank. People only used it for storing rainwater, and
it retails for what, like $7,000?
$5,600 before tax and shipping.
Yeah, $6,000-7,000.
So again, we called the guy up about that and asked what he'd take, and he said he'd take an offer of $300 for it. So it's 15 foot tall and 10 foot wide. We went up one day to pick it up, and it was actually too heavy for our trailer. Even though it's plastic water tank, it's a
huge.
It weighs 1,932 pounds, so it squatted the sides of our trailer out to where the fenders were touching on the tires. Been telling wife for a while we need a bigger trailer. The last couple loads we've hauled, like that load of sawmill lumber.
Yeah, that was interesting.
We
broke down. Well, we didn't break down, but something just didn't feel right. So we pulled over and had to end up putting some of that lumber in the back of the 15-passenger van because it was squatting on the tires. But one thing we want to stop and say for a minute is God has really blessed us, like He did with the tractor. You know, He brought it within our price range that we could do. That way, if it didn't work, we could scrap it and get our money back. He really blessed us. He's also blessed us with this water tank. You know, they put it online. It's something that we need. They put it online for a fraction of the price, and then they dropped it even lower so we could get it. So that was amazing. Another thing is there was a radio station here in town that went out of business, what, a year or two ago? A couple years ago, and they've had this big, signal tower that's been there, and they just haven't done anything with it. And when we started talking about going off grid and everything, they actually offered to just give it to us to get it off the church property. So again, huge blessing. We're gonna use that to help power our energy, and we just wanted to stop and let you guys know that God is really, really blessing us, and be looking forward to some videos here in the future. And thanks.